Good afternoon. It's great to be here. So I'm Nick Campbell-Voegt. I'm founder and director of BIS Consult. We build information solutions, and our focus is helping organizations to create data-driven smart estates. In this presentation, I'm going to be talking to you about mapping a smart estate for Manchester University NHS Foundation Trust. Now, I'm sure that everyone here today, and those of you watching online, will all agree that data is a business-critical asset, one which can improve decision-making, unlock strategic goals, and drive operational performance. But there is a lot of groundwork needed to organize and connect data in such a way that it becomes valuable. And all too often, the full value of business data is not realized. I'm going to describe the approach we've taken at BIS, working in collaboration with the Estates and Facilities team at Manchester NHS Foundation Trust, and how that's creating value, building organizational resilience, and ultimately improving quality of care. Manchester University NHS Foundation Trust, or MFT, are the largest NHS trust in the UK. They run 10 hospitals across 7 sites throughout Greater Manchester. They also lease buildings across an area spanning from Liverpool to the Peak District. Now, I'm a Londoner myself, so to put that into context, it's about the equivalent of central London to Oxford, or around 50 miles. So it's an expansive estate. The image you're looking at here is their Oxford Road campus, one of their key sites in the centre of Manchester. They employ around 28,000 members of staff, and they are the largest provider of specialist services in the northwest of England. The Trust is formed of 3 separate organisations which have merged together over time. So, as you might imagine, looking at this from a systems and an information perspective, the landscape is complex. There are many different systems and processes across the estate which have led to fragmented and siloed information, a challenge faced by many organisations of this scale. For their Estates and Facilities department, this was ultimately resulting in inefficiencies across project delivery, as well as property management and maintenance. So, BIS are leading the work at MFT to develop and implement their digital estate strategy, moving them towards the North Star of a smart, digitally enabled estate. And we're now a couple of years along this transformation journey. The work has been formed of 4 key phases, which you can see on the screen. A strategy is really the starting point, and through a number of workshops with staff across different teams, we developed an agreed set of strategic objectives and an approach that would start to harmonize the systems and data. We then spent a lot of time defining information requirements and setting the rules for information management. This is about standardizing core information so that it can be used effectively across multiple teams, including capital, operational, as well as commercial staff. Now, there's not much point in digitalizing a broken process, so the third phase is where we sought to optimize information workflows to align processes and systems in a way that can improve data quality and even start to automate its governance. The final phase is about embedding new ways of working, which fundamentally means getting people to do things differently and ensuring that suitable governance is in place. So, following this approach, BIS are delivering a number of digitalization initiatives at MFT, which are fundamentally about enhanced data analytics and visualization to capitalize on the value of their organizational data, and which now utilizes ArcGIS as part of a new data management ecosystem. So I remember introducing MFT to ArcGIS last year, and we had several discussions with the Esri UK professional services team, who were fantastic. They really took the time to understand our requirements, and they helped us to initiate our first pilot project. They still support us today as the program of work continues to evolve. So it's almost a year on, and BIS have now mapped the majority of the estate. We've also developed a number of new tools which will support staff across clinical teams, capital project delivery, and operations. We've maintained a focus on speed to value, and all of these pilot projects have received positive feedback, demonstrating the potential to yield really tangible benefits as well as a return on investment. To give you an overview, we're mapping the locations of capital projects and maintenance work to drive efficiencies and aid discussions around site management and operational staff. We're capturing and logging the locations of asbestos and other health and safety related information to support site staff with maintaining these records and visualising any areas with potential risks so that they can ensure suitable procedures and PPE are used when necessary. We've worked with the midwifery team, helping them to optimise the locations of their clinics, factoring in utilisation data, as well as population and demographic information. There's also a strong focus on environment, sustainability and governance, a theme which I'm really happy to see is running through a lot of the presentations today. I personally believe that data will help us make a profound difference in this area for businesses and for society by improving efficiency and reducing waste. At MFT, we're making great headway with carbon accounting and energy reporting across the estate. But the use case I'm going to focus on today is developing a heatwave preparedness tool. In 2020, researchers forecast that extreme temperatures would become the norm by 2050. As you can see in the image on the left, which shows what was thought to be a plausible scenario based on climate projections. The image on the right shows the actual weather in July last year, almost exactly matching the prediction, but 28 years early. Temperatures ran 10 to 15 degrees warmer than normal, reaching over 40 degrees Celsius. Now, this affected hundreds of millions of people across the UK, with implications for health and well-being across all industries. For many hospitals, this led to extreme overheating, causing a serious risk for patients as well as staff. As these heat waves are expected to become the norm, staff at MFT recognised the need to prepare for future events. As part of this work, BIS are leading on the data visualisation and development of the mapping tool that could help to plan mitigation measures for future extreme weather events. Adapting to climate change, sadly, is now a necessity. But maybe by connecting and leveraging data, we can become more resilient. Over the next few slides, I'm going to outline the approach we're taking at MFT to think about heatwave preparedness, but I'm sure there are similar opportunities in your businesses and industries, and I'd encourage you to think about what those might be. So the purpose of the tool is to help identify which areas of MFT's estate will be most heavily impacted by future heatwave events, and to optimise interventions accordingly. As a first step, BIS led a mini design thinking workshop with the energy and sustainability team at MFT to think creatively about the problem and the possible solutions. And this slide summarises what we found. On the right-hand side, you can see the key factors which can lead to overheating of spaces and some of the possible interventions. But in order to identify the most effective interventions across such a vast estate, we need data. And on the left-hand side, you can see the array of different data sets that we'd have to collect and integrate in developing our tool. So what this showed us was the volume and variety of different types of information that we'd need. Everything from building design and room schedules, leveraging drawings and data from their CAFM system, as well as maintenance schedules and incident data. So that's a combination of structured and unstructured data, as well as maybe conversations with operational staff. We also wanted to factor in dynamic data from smart building sensors. So quite an array of different types of information. But by running this quick workshop with a few key stakeholders, we built this picture of all the information we'd need to synthesize to create a useful output. From that list, we identified a number of quick wins to focus on initially. And I'm going to illustrate those over the next few slides. Firstly, there were some core systems within MFT which held data that could help us. Incident data was collected in a risk management system which contained information regarding any complaints of overheating. Separately, there's another system used to manage planned and reactive maintenance, which contained records of calls raised specifically regarding faulty or problematic heating or cooling systems. So we focused our attention on the worst affected site, and by combining the two data sets from these different systems and looking at records from June last year, the month of the heat wave, we could build an immediate picture of problem areas. As a next step, by mining that data in more detail, we could start to correlate complaints of overheating with the faulty equipment to identify and then prioritize which systems should be repaired or replaced. Our next quick win was making use of the natural capital tool, which was designed to calculate the amount of green space in a given area, but we can also use it to help us understand areas which might absorb the most heat. So this is a video demonstration of the tool, which I'm going to talk you through. So we've zoomed in on a particular site, and we're creating a site boundary. This is done using the Suite application for ArcGIS. So the area has now been defined, and Suite is reading other data layers, which are taken from Ordnance Survey information. So we're just saving that property, giving the site a name. So now you're seeing the natural capital application, which was developed by Esri for NHS Scotland. The tool reads information from Suite, and using an algorithm, it can then provide a summary of different types of land capital within a given area. So for example, we're selecting a site now, and we can see the breakdown of land across that particular site, including buildings, man-made surfaces such as car parks, paths, and roads. And if there was green space in this particular site, it would also show us that. So a really exciting tool. I think there's lots of potential use cases here with this tool for us as well. But for the heatwave example, we could run a high-level analysis to identify which parts of the site would get hottest based on the land type. We're also planning to utilize the ArcGIS indoor mapping tool to create indoor maps of specific buildings. Again, I'll talk you through what we can see on the screen. Working with Tetra Tech on this, we've created a pilot project at Withington Hospital where we've imported CAD drawings to create an indoors map of the building. So indoors allows you to toggle through individual floors, as you can see, and you can also view the information in 3D. You can select rooms, and you can see the information attributed to those rooms. You could also view and download documents or photos, or embed links to other systems. Smart sensors have actually been installed in this particular building, and we could visualize that data using indoors to monitor the information that they're collecting. So this is extremely useful for visualizing information at a room-specific level. It could even provide a viable alternative or addition to BIM models, as it allows you to view the information you need spatially without the need for specialist design software. Again, a lot of potential use cases using this particular tool that we're looking to leverage this approach. So the steps that I've outlined are all currently focused on the descriptive and diagnostic components of data analysis, understanding what has happened and why. The next steps for MFT on their digital transformation journey will move them into a predictive and prescriptive phase of data analytics, understanding what will happen and how they can make it happen. And I think this has a lot of parallels with the digital twin maturity scale that was explained to us earlier. But let's walk through each step, starting bottom left. What happened? Using incident data, maintenance records, and historic weather data, we can see which areas of site were worst affected during last year's heatwave. Why did it happen? By analysing the data, we can try to identify the root cause of the problem, whether the incident correlates to faulty ventilation equipment, building design and orientation, or overcrowded offices. What will happen? This is where we start to make predictions, like when heat waves are likely to occur. I understand that the Met Office are working to make their data available via ArcGIS, and I'll be very interested to speak to them today to understand which data we could maybe pull into our model and hopefully generate alerts. Finally, how can we make it happen? We can start to model the effect of different interventions to evaluate their impact, allowing us to prioritize any investments and plan the remediation work accordingly. So the tools I described previously can help us along this journey. The natural capital tool can help us to determine which areas would be most prone to absorbing heat, and potentially to model the impact of introducing more green space. Using the indoors tool, we can visualize dynamic data such as live temperature, room occupancy, and other key indicators. We could also perform a detailed light modeling analysis to identify the windows and elevations which might benefit from UV blocking window film. And using design information, we could model and visualize the thermal performance of that building. So in essence, we want to combine multiple sources of data to design and optimize interventions that will minimize the impact of heat waves for patients and for staff. So, MFT have set out to improve strategic decision-making capabilities and estates planning through improved data analysis and visualization. And BIS are privileged to be supporting them on this journey. By showing you the approach that we've taken and talking you through the heatwave example, hopefully you've seen how this is helping to unlock the hidden value of their estates data. Estates and facilities team have a pivotal role to play in providing spaces which can enhance the experience of building users and of customers. By organising and connecting data, BIS are working with these teams to create operational efficiencies as well as social value through better information management. We believe that data is a critical resource in tackling the most complex issues that we face today. Global issues like climate change will affect all of us, but I hope you'll share in my optimism that with the combined imaginations and the thinking power of businesses and individuals like everyone here today, we can make use of data to become more adaptable, more resilient, and more sustainable. Thank you very much.